So it's the first week in February, and it's time for the Super Bowl to get ready to kick off. And I know our team, the Carolina Panthers, aren't playing in the game this weekend. And it's been some time since the Panthers have been to the Super Bowl back in Super Bowl 50 in 2015. So in this video, we're going to talk about how far away the Carolina Panthers are exactly from being back in Super Bowl contention and possibly getting to that championship and getting the first Lombardi in franchise history. But before we get into that, my name is Aaron Duncan here with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. And on this channel, I start off every video by saying, what up, dude? This channel, I give recap and analysis of the NFL, in particular, the Carolina Panthers. So if you want to see more videos and stay up to date, you got to make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon when you subscribe. That way you get a notification when I drop videos, because YouTube doesn't always send out notifications to everybody if you're just subscribed. So you got to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon too. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up too, because it doesn't hurt anything, doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps my video out in the algorithm. But y'all, real quick, down below in the comments, let me know how far away you think this Panthers organization is from getting back to a Super Bowl game and possibly winning the championship. I know we got the new owner, new coach, new GM. We got some new players in this system. But let me know how far away you guys think we are from getting to the championship game and having a chance to win a Super Bowl. So the way I'm going to play this is I'm going to look at and see what the model of the teams that are actually in the Super Bowl championship this year with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Bucs and how they're constructed. You know, the Carolina Panthers actually had a chance to play both of these teams in the regular season. They played the Bucs twice to actually see how they measured up. They actually played the Kansas City Chiefs very tough. That was one of the few games that Christian McCaffrey actually played, and the game really went down to the wire. Just the Panthers really couldn't handle Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce along with Patrick Mahomes. But the Bucs, it was a little bit more lopsided. Obviously, this is a division game. They have a lot of talent on the team, and both games pretty much were comfortable wins by the Bucs. So the Panthers really got their measuring stick and got to see the way both of these teams are built that they're playing in this game is very quite similar. Let's look at all the pieces. So the common denominators between these two are great quarterback play. You see the Kansas City Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, who has a chance to probably go down as one of the greatest of all time. If he wins this Super Bowl coming up against Tom Brady, he's making a damn good case in his first couple of years in the league to be that. And on the other end, you got the Tampa Bay Bucs, who have Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, Mr. 6 Super Bowl rings himself, trying to go for number 7. So the common denominator is great quarterback play. It's very hard to win in the NFL in this day and age without solid quarterback play. The second is for those quarterbacks, they have a great stable of weapons. Like, it's an embarrassment of riches. The Kansas City Chiefs, we know the routine. These guys have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They have Sammy Watkins and all kind of speed with Mecole Hardman and guys like that. In the backfield, they even have Le'Veon Bell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Williams, a stable of backs themselves too. So they have an embarrassment of riches, and go along with Patrick Mahomes, who has a super strong arm. It's crazy what they can do, because they can attack you deep with Tyreek Hill. They can go side to side with Tyreek Hill. They can go down the seams with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is a big mismatch problem for them. And the Bucs, they kind of attack you in the same ways. They have the deep threat with Antonio Brown. Chris Godwin can get deep. Mike Evans can get deep. But they're all possession receivers too. Not to mention they have Gronk, Cameron Brate at tight end, two big targets that are mismatch problems. But they also in the backfield have Leonard Fournette, a very effective running back. So an embarrassment of riches in the backfield and out wide and at tight end for both teams is another common denominator. Let's go back to the trenches, because another thing in common is they have an investment in the offensive line. An investment. Not necessarily saying that they're perfect, but they invested some resources. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs, they had Eric Fisher, their left tackle, who won't be playing in the Super Bowl. He's a main piece that they established and picked him #1 overall a few years back, and he's anchored their offensive line for years. And on the Bucs side, they have Ali Marpet. They had Donovan Smith, and then they invested and got Tristan Wirfs, a very solid rookie tackle, just because Tom Brady is not very mobile. So you need to be able to protect him in that pocket, because he can move around a little bit, but he's definitely not a running quarterback or as mobile as Patrick Mahomes. But you still got to invest some resources in the offensive line to be able to make up and give the quarterback some time to make plays. Let's move to the other side of the football, because on defense, what's the common denominators? They have good weapons and difference makers up front. Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones, Frank Clark. Chris Jones is probably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Definitely top 3, probably number 2 or so. This guy is a mismatch when it comes to pass rush. He's quick. He's physical. He's tall and long. He has great size. I love him. Frank Clark was a guy that they got in a move from Seattle. And Frank Clark is not a dominant defense end, but he can definitely make plays, and he complements Chris Jones very well. On the Bucs side, we know the lineup they had. Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, JPP. All guys that can have either matchup problems when it comes to Shaq Barrett off the edge, or JPP, who has great size, who can be physical and play the run very well. Obviously, Ndamukong Suh is a good guy still on the inside as a vet, but Vita Vea is a plugger in the middle, clogging up all those holes. So you have those guys in the inside. Last but not least, when it comes to the defense, secondary versatility. Look at the Chiefs. The Honey Badger is the ultimate Swiss Army knife when it comes to the secondary. He guards tight ends. He plays in the slot. He plays in the box. He can play deep. They also have Sorensen, who's not overly athletic, but he's a great overachiever. He's a versatile guy. He's physical. He can be versatile too. He plays a little bit of coverage against tight ends. But they also have tall corners. You know what I'm saying? They have very tall corners with a guy like Snead that, not the best, but they have great size. They can play physical, can play bump and run, and they do a lot of different things in the secondary, and it complements their front four well, so they play in combination with each other. They're not a dominant defense, but they can get stops because they have athleticism, size, and versatility in the secondary to be able to mix up the coverages. For the Bucs, Todd Bowles' secondary is, they've been much maligned for years prior, but they have guys coming to their own. You know, guys like Carlton Davis, who is tall and physical and can make some plays. And then Antoine Winfield Jr., the rookie safety that they drafted. They have guys there that are physical that can make plays. Like I said, they have that size on the outside. So you need that size and athleticism on the outside too to be able to match up against different guys. The last thing we need to talk about, though, that they have in common is coaching. Very aggressive coaching. Andy Reid's one of the most aggressive coaches in the league. Goes for it on fourth down a lot. He tries some things that you probably wouldn't try on fourth down. Like we saw what happened in the playoffs when they ran some of these passing plays on fourth and short with the game on the line. And Bruce Arians, we know his motto, no risky, no biscuit, taking shots deep. He goes for it on fourth down also. He's a very aggressive coach. So you have to have a coach that's smart but aggressive, that can make calculated moves and plays during the game, that has a pulse on the team and has confidence in his team and his quarterback and is willing to take those chances. So where are the Panthers at in their status and compared to building a model similar to the competitive teams? Well, they don't have a quarterback right now that's elite. They have Teddy Bridgewater. And of course, it sounds like all the chatter this offseason, they're going to be looking to make a move to make those changes, because when you have a quarterback like that, it can cover up for some of the downfalls of the rest of the team. Yeah, the Chiefs' offensive line isn't the best, and their defense isn't the best either. But Patrick Mahomes takes a lot of pressure off them, because they know if they just get a couple stops a game, the offense is going to be powerful enough, or as long as they keep the game interesting, Patrick Mahomes can make a miraculous comeback and win these games. So a great quarterback can cover up some of your shortcomings. But the Panthers, they're going to be looking for that guy. Will they be able to get him in the draft? Will they be able to trade for him if they get Deshaun Watson? I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes is still young, so you're going to need to be able to find somebody who can either hang with Patrick Mahomes or at least be just as effective with him. That way, the rest of your players can make plays if you're going to be able to take down a team like the Chiefs when it comes to the Super Bowl, because they're going to be around a long time. Patrick Mahomes is going to play another 12 to 15 years in this league, so that's the Goliath that any kind of David is going to have to slay when they try to beat them in the Super Bowl. From a weapon standpoint, the Carolina Panthers seem pretty solid. They have the speed and receivers, 2,000-yard receivers, 3 receivers with 1,000 all-purpose yards. Now, the red zone offense does struggle, and what they're missing compared to these Super Bowl teams is the tight end position. They need a good athletic tight end that's effective. Could it be Kyle Pitts if they go with him early in the draft? See what Travis Kelce does. You see what Gronk did in his heyday. So you need a tight end like that. Could it be Kyle Pitts? I don't know. Offensive line. We know that Taylor Moton could be coming back, but we only have one offensive lineman right now that's on contract, and that's Matt Paradise. You need to invest in those offensive lines similar to how the Bucs did and similar to how the Chiefs had. Invest in them. If you get a decent quarterback, you're going to need to be able to protect him and keep him clean, keep him from being under pressure so he can develop good, especially if you go with a young guy at the quarterback position. So investing in the offensive line needs to be done by the Panthers big time. From the defensive standpoint, the secondary and versatility. They do have a guy like Jeremy Chin who could be plugged in anywhere. That was a great pick. But they also have guys like Dante Jackson back there that's fast, and he's a little bit smaller, but he is fast. You need more versatility. So do you go in the draft and try to find another second-round gem or third-round gem or late-round gem similar to Jeremy Chin? I don't know. Do you draft a guy like Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain the second and put him at corner. That way you have a good, tall, physical corner, similar to how I told all these other teams are. That way you can match up with guys like Mike Evans, Julio Jones, and Michael Thomas that's in your division that they have to play twice per season. So you need a guy on the outside that can do that, that's physical too. But you need to be able to find some versatility. But when it comes to up front, the Panthers are well on their way to building a quality front four. Brian Burns, obviously, 9 sacks this past season, even though he missed some time. He's a guy that you can really build around. They drafted Derek Brown in the first round last year. He came on late in the season and made some signs, a big guy that can plug and control the middle of the line of scrimmage. Now they need to find another 3 technique that can complement him, that can probably get after the passer with some inside pressure, because that inside pressure allows to push that pocket. That way Brian Burns can come around the corner and the quarterback can't step up and get away from him. Yetur Gross-Matos is a good physical guy, similar to JPP down in Tampa Bay. I like him. I want to see more from him, but if he can develop him to being a solid piece from a pass rush and a run game standpoint, you have a quality front four that's young that you can build with and anchor that defense and start building from the front to the back. But the last thing is obviously the coaches. Now, Matt Rhule, there's a lot to still be told and written when it comes to the book on Matt Rhule. I know everybody wants to say he's a program builder and all this and that, and I get it. He did that at Baylor, Temple. He has to prove he can do that in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different. Drafting and making moves like that is a little different than recruiting and stuff like that. So I need to see, what can Matt Rhule do? Can he actually build a professional team? Talking and yelling at 18 and 22-year-olds on the college level is a lot different than grown men who are getting paid way more money than you, even though you are one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. It's a little bit different being able to coach grown men, like I said, that have been in the league, are veterans, that may not actually be picking up what you're putting down when it comes to the message that you're getting across. So we need to see that. Matt Rhule tried to be aggressive. He tries to play off analytics when it comes to in-game. I would like to see him lean more on his gut, lean more on how he feels about the players, but also balance analytics in there also to be able to make decisions when it's time to be aggressive or stuff like that. Maybe it'll come when he has a little bit more faith in the quarterback, whoever that may be that they bring in. So we'll see what happens in the future, but we definitely have a lot to be told about what Matt Rhule can actually do, and if he's a quality coach with the caliber to bring us that NFL championship here. He's on a 7-year contract. He's only in year 2, so there's a lot more to be told about what's going to happen with ownership with David Tepper. Is he going to actually step back and let Matt Rhule run this program along with Scott Fitterer, since he finally has his GM and head coach? We know these other good programs, they have an ownership group that's known, but they're not involved. Any successful owners are not going to be involved in the day-to-day things and always on the front line making statements and making backwards comments at the quarterback. So I would like to see David Tepper fall back and be similar to some of these other guys that trust their coaches and GMs to get stuff done. So we'll see what happens. How long will this process take? That's the million-dollar question. A lot of people say give Matt Rhule 3 years to turn a program around. That's what he did in the college. Whatever. Cool. What does turning around mean? Does that have us competing for a division? Does it have us getting in the playoffs? What does that have us doing? I think to fully rebuild this stuff, it's going to take another 4 or 5 years possibly to make us a Super Bowl contender. There's no reason why we shouldn't be competing for the playoffs within the next year or 2 at the worst. The NFC South is having a huge turnover when it comes to salary cap, age of quarterbacks, and stuff like that, with Matt Ryan getting ready to be on the way out soon and very soon. Drew Brees probably retiring, and Tom Brady, he may have 2 or 3 years left. Who knows? So if the Panthers can build a core right now and kind of get their ducks in a row while the rest of the division is kind of reshuffling, they can set themselves up to run this division for a long time and make quality runs at the playoffs. Now, this shouldn't take too long, because we saw the San Francisco 49ers turn around their things pretty quick with Shanahan and Lynch and get there pretty fast. And look at the Tampa Bay Bucs. Granted, I know they got Tom Brady, but Bruce Arians, his second year, he's got this team to the Super Bowl. You can't say Tom Brady's the reason why they did it. I get it. But at the same time, quarterback was literally the only thing they needed. They literally had a stable of weapons at wide receiver and on offense. They brought in another offensive lineman just to be sure. Their defense was young, but they had a great coach like Todd Bowles that's aggressive. And as they began to kind of gel and get better together, the bed was already made for Tom Brady. He really just had to lay in it, and being how good he is, he elevated them to the next level. So you got to give them credit, because those turnarounds were 2 to 3, 4 years at the worst. So the pressure's going to be on Matt Rhule and Scott Fitterer to turn this thing around pretty quickly. And I know the fans are going to be itching and hungry to do it because we got an owner who has a blank check and a budget that nobody can match. So the resources will be there. We just have to take advantage of it and make those moves and get to the Super Bowl. But you guys let me know down below in the comments. How long do you think it'll take, guys? Let me know. And without further ado, I'm Aaron Duncan signing off. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit the bell icon. I'll see you next time. Peace.